And we're back. Hello and welcome to the Hypertrophy Odyssey, chapter 63, I believe? Yeah, 63. It is Monday, aka the Vulcan Raven workout. Gotta have to hold it for today because the tripod is fucked. But anyways, so it is Monday. This week it is a little bit of a different thing, but we'll talk about that in a second. I am feeling all right, a little tired, but it is what it is. Long weekend, lots of stuff happening in the personal life. But right now, I am looking forward to this workout. It's been a little bit. I feel excited. I'm always excited for the Monday workout. Like excited for all workouts, but this one in particular, I'm very much looking forward to. So looking forward to today. Feel good. All body parts feel good. I feel lubed up and ready to go. I should probably come up with a better term than lubed up, but it is what it is. So I apologize for no video today. I did not go to the gym on Friday, so that means that there's no video for Monday. So that was because I just didn't go for multitudes of reasons, personal stuff going on. Today, I wanted to talk a little bit about well, you already read the title most likely, and the thumbnail, but it is about experimentation. So the reason why this came up is because this week I'm going to experiment a little bit with my split because I am not going to go to the gym again on Friday. I don't want to skip it again. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to go 4 days in a row. So I'm going to just do my upper lower straight, just upper lower, upper lower. And I think that's the experimentation part of it, is that I'm very curious to see how I hold up fatigue wise, strength wise, and just general wear and tear wise. I wonder what it'll be like going back to back non-stop and then just having 3 days off. I'm very curious to see how it'll all pan out. But the reason why I wanted to talk a little bit more about experimentation was just because I think that the upcoming month or so I'm gonna start implementing a few more experiments into the workouts. So there are going to be a couple of exercises that I add to the workouts in order to experiment around a little bit, that I'm going to keep probably around for like a month or so at least, just to see if the month will determine if it's worth keeping or not. I'm going to do that. That'll be interesting. This week it's about experimenting with my body and seeing if it's going to be all right to do all 4 days in a row. That, and then just generally I wanted to talk about experimentation. I'll probably talk more on the voiceover about experimentation outside of the gym, because obviously that does happen. But inside the gym right now, I'll discuss that. This week will be interesting, but after next week I'll go into detail as I go into them. I think I'm gonna add 2 exercises, which I'll get into in each individual video. I want to see what happens with both of those, so I'm very curious and excited. I apologize for the off kilter, by the way, camera angle. I'm holding my tripod, and also my camera just got fixed, so I should be coming back relatively soon, thankfully. Just waiting now at this point, so we should be back to normal relatively soon, hopefully. Thankfully, looking forward to that. That was quick and easy. That was like a nice thing to deal with, nothing too crazy. Shout out to the folks at DJI. I think when it comes down to experimenting, it comes in the gym, you got to do it a little bit and you got to stick to it. That's the main thing. I feel like not enough people are scientists in their own right, you know what I mean? Obviously, you're not a scientist, but at the same time, I feel like a lot of people end up not wanting to be experimental with either their movements and or like the weight that they're doing and or their technique or anything like that. Don't get lost in the sauce and then you stay a little too straight and narrow, which it can be fine, but sometimes you got to mess around a little bit to see what works and what doesn't work for you. Maybe sometimes things do work out for you that you didn't think would work out, but you got to do it in a funny way, you know what I mean? It's just things like that. I find it personally interesting that people will like ask the opinion of others on like certain gym things, but most of the time it is, I don't know, just try it out yourself and see if you like it, which if 90% of it boils down to that. I mean, if you like it and it's working for you, then keep doing it, but there's a lot of stuff you could say about that, but we'll get to that in the voiceover. But for now, I just wanted to say before we go inside is that I'm looking forward to these experimentations, because if they work out well, hey, they're going to be staples. If they don't work out well, then there you go. No harm, no foul. I wasted a little bit of time, but also I might have gained a little bit of gains. I might have not gained a little bit of gains. Who knows? We'll see. But anyways, with that being said, I will see you on the inside. All right, so on this day, started off with dips. To give you a little bit of behind the scenes, I recorded this about a week ago and it will be released a week later. I got a bunch of videos that are kind of in the backlog. I will probably get into why there is a little bit of a backlog in a different episode. But for now, let's get back to the main subject, which is experimentation. Just always experiment with stuff. I think that it is something that people don't end up doing a lot, especially in the gym, because, there is something to be said about, sticking to something, but also check out movements, see how they feel on you. Sometimes even doing like half of a set of something can make you feel certain muscle groups activate that you didn't even know would be activated. So there are things like that I would recommend highly. That's what I did with the French press that's coming up in a bit. Whenever I started doing those, I was like, let me just do the bar and see how it feels. And it felt great. So I was like, all right, time to add it to the repertoire. That's the main thing when it comes to the gym, is just try to do multiple things and just try to seeing what the possibilities of each exercise is to your own body, and just doing it, The thing about it is that you have to give it time to work in for you. So these felt great the first time I did them, so I keep doing them. But there are other exercises that did not feel great the first time I did them. Or should I say, they did not feel good in that I was just like, all right, I'm not seeing any progress in what I want to see, right? But there are also some things in experimentation where you have to have a little bit of patience as well, which is a whole other video, which we will get into eventually, because that is something, but that's for a different day. Next month, I'm going to be adding a couple of exercises in an experiment to figure out and see if they are worth keeping and or replacing certain other exercises with. I'm very curious to see how it goes. I think I'm going to be adding 3 different exercises. When we get to those videos, we'll get there. We'll probably make that this weekend. But I'm going to do that, and I'm looking forward to it because I'm going to probably keep them in for like a month or 2, maybe 2 months, depending on how I feel afterwards, but definitely at least a month, just to see how the effects that they have on me and if I do enjoy doing them, because sometimes, there are things that just get boring and or are stupid, or just don't really work. You don't really feel anything and it kind of hurts you. But that's the thing, you got to be careful about experimenting, but also at the same time, you got to have the freedom to be willing to experiment, when it comes to not only the gym, but just generally in life. I don't think that you should experiment with everything. You should be smart about what you choose to experiment with, particularly in life, but even in the gym. If you have bad shoulders, if you have bad shoulders, don't do heavy pullovers, you know what I mean? So what you want to do is experiment, but experiment with caution within your own means, It's like as if I was just like, all right, I've never dumbbell bench pressed at all. I'm going to start with the hundreds. I could probably do that on regular bench, but I don't know if I could do that on dumbbell bench. So it'd be kind of stupid to try to do that without any real experience and working my way up to it. So just got to be careful about that. In general life, I just want to say, experimentation wise, you gotta see what works for you and what doesn't work. I think people are too afraid to not experiment, particularly with their diet. I think it is kind of crazy because, diet is something that you have to experiment to figure out what works for you and what doesn't work. Going down to the base roots of stuff and trying to figure out what works for you and what doesn't. So if you're gonna eat a bunch of foods that are filled with preservatives and stuff, it's like a laundry list of ingredients. So you might be allergic to one of the many ingredients in there, so you got to go down to the basic, chicken and or vegetable and or bread, small things, and then you can figure out maybe it's the preservatives you're allergic to, but who knows. But there is also I've already talked about this in the other video where new habits die young, but experimenting is finding new habits in a way where you just kind of try to see what habit works for you and what doesn't work for you. I'm going through some of these things. It's tough to stick to certain things, but you have to give it some time to make sure it's worth doing. And sometimes it's not, but there are other times where it is worth doing. I think the one habit that I got out of that I really want to get back into recently is model kit making. I really want to get into that, so I'm gonna probably end up doing those for a little while, just because I've been wanting to do something like that, something more creative with my hands. So I'm gonna do something like that just on the side. When it comes down to it, experimentation is something that people should probably end up doing more often, especially in the gym and or with their diet. They shouldn't be afraid to step outside the box a little and figure out what's going on with them. Because if they don't really figure out anything like, let's say, the gym related or food related, you're never really going to know what's optimal for you and or I hate that term, but what is the best for you. And you got to be willing to mess up and know that you wasted a little bit of time, and I guess that's the hard part of it, really, is that knowing that you might have wasted a little bit of your time or effort or whatever, but you have to kind of be fine with that in order to figure out what works best for you, whether it's exercise, food, habits, whatever. You just gotta be willing to risk the failure part of it. And I think that people hold themselves too hard on the what if it doesn't work. Yeah, it might not work, but if it does work, you know what I mean? That's really what you need to think about. Yeah, I think the levels of possible wasted time, the sunken cost fallacy, the entire idea that maybe what I'm doing is just a waste of time, the failure, or it doesn't even work is really what holds people back from doing experimentation in their own life. Of course, they want to be told what to do and all that other jazz, but sometimes you just got to do it on your own and figure it all out. Failure is not the worst thing, especially in the gym. There's going to probably be a whole other episode about failure. There's just the general term in terms of the gym, but in terms as well as generally. I think that'll be our own subject matter of the video, but when it comes down to experimentation, that's part of it. Regardless of what you do, you might find out that you're not really good at X, Y, or Z. You might find out that this one exercise sucks for you and you've been doing it for a long time, so you just change it out. You might find out that this food that you thought was great and tastes good is giving you the runs. Like, you never know. So, but that's something that if you, without some experimentation and some willingness to fail, you're never really going to find out. So just gotta have to get over that feeling. And we're back. Hello and welcome to the workout debriefing. Exercise is not filmed, none. Exercises skipped, none. Got everything in. Thankfully, it is Monday, so it was pretty nice. I had the weekend off plus Friday, so felt great, feeling great, feel everything's destroyed, but in a good way. So I'm looking forward to getting home and relaxing. Mostly looking forward to this meal because I'm hungry as hell, but that is that as soon as I get that cooked up. But anyways, I'm just looking forward to this week to experiment a little bit, see how my body handles all 4 days in a row. It's going to be a very interesting experiment. I'm looking forward to doing it. I look forward mostly to seeing how my body's going to react to no days off in between. I think it'll be fine, most likely than not. I'm just curious to see if anything happens, if anything pops up or something like that, because it is going to be something that's kind of new stimulus, if you will, if I want to use the scientific terms. Hopefully by next week I should have the camera back, maybe even before the end of the week I might have the camera back. I think the biggest 2 days that are going to be weird are going to be Thursday and Friday, since they're going to be pushed back a day. So what I'm going to be normally feeling on Wednesday, which is nothing, I'm going to be having an upper body day, which I'm fine with, but having a lower body day when I'm supposed to have an upper body day seems like it'll be interesting, especially since it'll be so close to the other lower body day. Experimentation when it comes to exercise is pretty handy, pretty useful. I think not enough people do it, and or if they do it, they don't stick to it. I think there is something to be said about if you're going to try something out, give it a couple weeks, maybe a month or 3 or even 6 before you ex-nay it, or you say yay or nay, because you don't give it a little bit of time for it to settle in, it's not going to really do much. I know that there are people out there that end up working out or doing like an exercise for like a month and be like, it didn't work. Well, yeah, there's a difference between it not working and you're not giving it time to let it work, but there are things which I will say, if they just don't feel good the first time you do them and you try them again and they still don't feel good, maybe you might want to look somewhere else, do it at a different angle or something like that, because there are cases where exercises just don't feel good, you know what I mean? Like literally it doesn't bode well for your anatomy. So I'd highly just check something else out, and see how that feels. You never know, it might just be one of those things that one didn't work but a variation of it did. So it all just depends. But with that being said, experiment around. Tell me what you think in the comments below about experimentation. We'd love to hear about it. Specifically, what was the last time you experimented with something, whether it be something simple or hardcore drugs, who knows? But let me know what you think in the comments below. I will be back with another episode tomorrow. I should have 4 out of the 5 videos this week, and hopefully I'll have my camera back so that way I can do more than that, but we'll see about that anyways. But thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. I will be back on tomorrow. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate anything that you do. I really do. Thank you very much. I will see you on the next one. Thank you very much. Peace.